Soccer's kind of always been in my life, probably since I could walk. My dad played just like men's league and stuff like that, so being able to kind of see him play and growing up in North America, I feel like everyone plays a different sport or other sports. Competitively, it was always just soccer. I played a little bit of volleyball in high school, but soccer was always kind of my main sport and took up most of my time. From the time that I started playing, I always had the goal of being a soccer player. And growing up, I kind of played for a little bit more local teams, and then when I got to like the age like 15, 16, I went to a different team, Vaughan, who's kind of created a lot of players that in the MLS and with our national team. I'd say I'm similar to both my parents. They definitely always pushed me. My dad was kind of one of my coaches kind of growing up until probably I went to Vaughan. So he kind of always pushed me, whether it was training with the team or we'd go and do extra sessions, just me and him sometimes. And then my mom always just supported me, and like I said, driving to those trainings and things like that when I couldn't do it myself. So I think they were a really big part of that. My parents really valued education, and the decision to go to Maryland kind of came late because they obviously had Zach Steffen there, and then kind of when he decided to go pro is kind of when the spot opened up. So the recruitment process was definitely late and quick with them, but that was probably one of my best decisions was to go there. And it definitely had some trial and tribulations when I was there, but overall I was able to accomplish what I wanted to. And I think from the aspect of college soccer, I think for me it allowed me to get away from home and to kind of figure some things on and off the field by myself and have to go through those things without having my parents or things like that in there. And of course they were always a call away, but when you're living alone and things like that with teammates and in a different country, and you're forced to grow up and mature a little bit more, which I think has helped me a lot. I knew that I was going to get drafted, but people don't realize that you're moving your whole life to one city, whatever team that takes you, and you don't really have a say over it. So I think you're kind of just waiting for your name to be called because you know your life's moving and you're just not sure where. So obviously I was very grateful that Minnesota gave me an opportunity. And in order to play for the national team, they were honest with me and they said you need to be playing for your club. I didn't play the first 2 games, and of course there were some trade rumors surrounding my name, but I knew that I had one opportunity again to kind of showcase why I should be playing, because I always knew that I was good enough to play in this league. So just being able to have that opportunity, and of course in my position it could have been a game where I never touched the ball. I got called upon a lot, and I think I rose to the occasion, and to be able to have that kind of performance in a moment like that, I think was definitely kind of going into it was probably one of my most pressured games that I've ever played in. Being able to host the All-Star game here in front of the home crowd, of course I'm fortunate enough to play in front of our crowd every week or whenever we have home games. And I think to be able to showcase that to the rest of the league, to Liga MX, what our fans really show out, and then to obviously have a good performance in front of us and to be awarded the MVP. I was kind of surprised a little bit, but I was also very grateful to be able to have that moment. I think that was my first time. My mom came in town to see me play in Allianz. Just having that moment with her, I think she was probably happier than I was after the game, to be honest. Obviously in the back of my head too, I knew that there was another national team camp coming up, and that was going to be our camp to qualify for the World Cup. I didn't obviously know that I was going to be locked into the roster, but I think that I had a good season, so I put myself in a good spot. And then to be able to get the call when they were just talking about all the logistics, I think there was a little bit more planning for the MLS guys because there was that break before the World Cup. That was a time where we kind of knew like MLS season was done. It was kind of like shifting your focus into this World Cup, focusing in on our goals for the national team, to do what we wanted to accomplish. But that flight was definitely the longest flight I've had in my life. Knowing what was on the other side and what was going to happen when we landed, and the work that was going to be put in to be at the biggest stage in the world, that was definitely a gratifying moment. And I think it never really hit me until like we landed in Qatar. Like, this is the World Cup now, you know what I mean? You saw all the pictures and all the photographers and all the ads and things up and all the different countries on all the different buildings and everything like that. I think we had the pre-camp, but it never really fully hit me until we got to actually landed in Qatar. Like I said, they played such a crucial role growing up in all those long drives and things like that. So to be able to have that moment, I think they never said, oh, Dayne, we want you to make the World Cup or we want you to do this or whatever. They just wanted me to be successful in whatever I did. And I know for them it was gratifying for them to be able to come to Qatar as well and to kind of see me there. I'm pretty sure my mom cries for everything, so I'm sure she was probably crying in the stands somewhere. But I was definitely grateful for my family to be able to be there as well.